Hey, howdy ho, everybody! This is Postmortem Nightshade, and as I mentioned in my most recent video, we had two horror options for Mystery Movie Monday this week. The first was Hokum. That video is live on the channel, check it out if you're interested. But the second film was Over Your Dead Body. Google has this film labeled as an adventure comedy, which feels for sure at least partially wildly inaccurate. This is definitely a pitch black horror comedy that is extremely bloody and falls well into the disturbing side in my book. Jorma Taccone is the director of this film, who is most recently responsible for directing the Knuckles TV series, with the two stars of Over Your Dead Body being Samara Weaving, famous for her work in the Ready or Not movies, and Jason Segel, who I actually know best from The Muppets. I have talked about a couple movies that have been released by IFC already this year, and Over Your Dead Body is another. 2026 is definitely the year of me figuring out that IFC movies are very hit or miss for me. I had seen the trailer for this film a couple times before seeing it in the cinema, so I thought I had a rough idea regarding what this film was about. Mainly, I figured it revolved around a couple trying to kill each other through escalated hijinks. But at about a quarter way through the film, it takes a turn into a very different kind of movie. And at that point, this film just really went downhill fast for me. I am already not the biggest fan of horror comedies, and while I do always try to go into every movie with an open mind, including horror comedies, this film just further solidified my distaste for the genre, or subgenre, I guess. Over Your Dead Body initially had a premise that, while dark, I thought could genuinely work out to be a horror comedy I enjoyed. But at several points in this film, the material not only felt disturbing, it also felt cruel and mean, which takes any joy out of the viewing experience. So I would highly recommend that you look up trigger warnings before seeing this film if you are at all worried about the material. Ironically, Hokum and Over Your Dead Body almost have the exact same runtime, and yet Over Your Dead Body felt twice as long as Hokum. This movie is very gory, bloody, and over the top. And honestly, the best thing I can say about this film is that the practical gore effects were done very, very well. I also thought that Samara Weaving and Jason Segel did the best with what they had, and the setting and production design felt like they belonged in a far better film than this one. However, I think my biggest complaint about this particular horror comedy is that the tone of this movie wasn't balanced enough. It didn't feel funny after a certain point, but the movie led on that I was supposed to be finding what was happening on screen to be very comical. But, the audience I saw this film with was laughing throughout most of the movie, which I thought was important to mention. Perhaps based on my audience's reactions, if you already like horror comedies, this one might be right up your alley. But for me, this pitch black horror comedy tread too far into left field and too far into the disturbing for my taste. So, on my scale, this film gets a hey Heidi, no really, maybe just stop. But let me know in the comments, do you like horror comedies? And if so, did you like Over Your Dead Body? Thank you everyone so much for tuning in, and if you'd like to follow along on my movie review journey, please like and subscribe, and I will see y'all very soon.